Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sis in the Morning, 15 minutes to change your life. Kuntres Heichaltzu. So we've basically been discussing how you have this concept of sort of coming together, like having like unity that comes from the separateness. So you don't have to necessarily agree about everything in order to come together. And this is like, I'm going to discuss it as it applies itself to Chachma and Bina. Essentially, that's what we're talking about. And it's a very important lesson. You know, it's like, so I remember once I heard they asked the rabbi, for some reason, it came out this discussion about people like homosexual people and coming to shul. It was like a whole political thing was happening. So they asked the rabbi about it. So he said, there's 612 other mitzvahs that I can connect with them. Why would I focus on the one mitzvah that I can't? I think that was a very powerful, like, clear or powerful message, but it's very, very obvious. In a certain sense, it's obvious. Like, why do I have to focus on the one thing that we don't really connect with? I can just focus on everything else. Like I have so many other things I can focus on. This is sort of what we're talking about. There's so much we can come together on. And see that. And ultimately we're talking about the Zavaya, which is all about unity and bittul. Whereas on the other hand, you have Toyo or Midjan, which is a source. Or the source of Midjan is like this level of Toyo, which is telling a long ago. And yeah, and so the top of page 46, and we start discussing the why do we say Shema Yisrael Hashem Echad, and Hashem is one. You should say Hashem is Yachid. Hashem is everything. It's singular. It's only God. When you say God is one, that means it's 2, 3, and 4. What does that mean? So we said the reason why we say that is because it's coming to give us a very fundamental understanding that even in the world that feels that separateness, is really that unity. And you know, and separate, it's like someone asked once, I saw this. Someone posted somewhere. Is it allowed to go to a protest, like an anti-Israel protest, like there's Jews on the anti-Israel side, and ask them to put on tefillin? The question is a problematic question, but when you think there's separateness, so then you say, what do you mean they're separated from us? But if you realize we're all essentially one and we have this connection, so then for sure, why not? What's the difference if his opinion connected with his neshama? His neshama is in galus, in fakert. When you get to put tefillin on the person, you get to help them out of galus. This is not what we're talking about. And yeah, so therefore, on page 46, Mishum Zeh, so being that this is the case, like we said before, being the soul is in a state of oneness, the soul's essence, and I'm subsumed within the soul, seeing the soul is the word, the expression of it, so all has this oneness in the source. The gam pratim, even as they come down into details, yesh behelem b'chol koyach me'akoyach ahafti. We're saying an interesting part of him, that essentially within itself, within every level, you have both sides of the coin. Its power and the opposite of it. And he's going to discuss it in terms of fire and water. So mitzad ha'iskalus shelhem shebechinas ha'atzmus, because of this unity that comes from the level of atzmus. Because meaning, so to speak, we all come from the same source. So within that source, we're all one, we're all together. And as it comes out, it separates. But in source, it's one. And therefore, even though out here it's two separate things, or could be two contradicting things, it's not as it is essentially, which is as it comes out of here. Because we can go back far enough and we're all one. So to the Jewish people as a whole, we can go back far enough and we're all one people. And he explains, he gives a definition over here like this. That it's like when you have, there's joy and there's suffering. There's good things that happen to you in your life, and then there's unfortunately not such good things that happen. Now, the difference between, now, and what happens, now, you learn Chassidus, or you apply Chassidus, what you learn, you realize that even something not happy, not enjoyable necessarily, but you know that essentially it's coming from a good place. And it's coming from either it's because it's going to be good in the end. It's like, I didn't have insurance at a certain point in my life in America here. I didn't have insurance, and I ended up getting a toothache, and I was like stuck, and I didn't know what to do. But through that and painful situation, I realized Hashem was trying to help me, and in the end, I figured it out and had insurance, but I was able to go to see a doctor and a dentist, and it worked out. So that's even though it's a negative, and the opposite is joy, but through that sad experience, I connected it to a good experience, and it had a level of goodness to it. Or you can say, as Chassidus says, it's really, you realize it's coming from a deeper place, because everything comes in nothing bad comes from above. So this, you having something bad, is because in its source it's so good that it can't be expressed in a good. It's so deep. But either way, we see here this. On one hand, you have it's joy. On one hand, it's a negative, or it's sad, but really there's joy together with it. Just like it's sad, my tooth hurts, but it's joyful because I know that it's going to help me in the end. So we have these two opposites going at the same time. And that's what we're saying, because when you go into a deeper place, that's how it really is. Or just like that concept of in its source it's good, and when it comes down, it's so good above, so when it comes down, it can only come down in negative. But shows that we have the negative and the positive really together. Within ourselves. Not just within ourselves, we have this concept like we're talking about, we surely everything in the world. For example, water, in its source also has fire. Now I don't know if he's talking about the air, like I told you about the story last time that we had a little bit of trying to burn out some wax from the candles holders, and I'm getting a little too high, so I went to pull hard on it, and I think it was the oxygen in the water. It made it just fly up and got really high. So I don't know if he's talking about that specific idea, that thing, but the point is saying that in water itself it has the concept of fire. So in the fire you have the source of water. But clearly it's not revealed. You don't see it. You don't see in the water the concept of fire in any way. And if anything, what you normally see, the firefighter, the main tool they use is water. Put out the fire. So you see they're clearly opposite to each other. You're trying to light a fire on the wood that's wet. It's not going to work. It's really, really concealed. Like it is when they're revealed. The water is water, and it cannot connect with fire. Page 48. Water and fire can't connect with water. Meaning, because as it is down here, they're very concealed. Even to itself, it can't recognize. So to speak, if you spoke to the water, you'd say, you're connected, you're good friends with the fire. It doesn't know what you're talking about. We argue and we're against each other. The gam latzman, yeah. And that's why down here, water and fire can't connect. The because as it is comes down through the sort of as it comes here in the physical sense, water doesn't get together with the fire. That's how we see the world. However, but when you divide the water, you take out the fire that is within it in a revealed way. The fire, you take the aspect of water that's within it, which it has in its source. This is what it means, like it says in Sefer Torah, took out the fire from the water and the water from the fire. That, like we're saying, that in its source it does have all these things. And then when you do that, then they can come together. So meaning essentially fire and water in a deeper place, they can't come together. They have a relationship, just like with my story that the water adds. And that's also, it's in general, using water to put out a fire is not the best substance, because it has an aspect that it's like two parts putting it out, one part giving it more energy. So that's what he's saying, that really you can come get that point where those two come together. And I guess you could say within ourselves, I'm sure you're going to talk a little more about within ourselves, that we can find what brings us apart, like the one mitzvah that puts us apart, like we talked about before, a person that that has an issue with one mitzvah, or we can add in 612 other mitzvahs. Because there's an aspect in water that connects with fire, there's an aspect with fire that connects with water. And this is a very important point, I guess, in general for us. We have to realize that even if there's someone that has a different opinion than us in certain areas, and it could be in extreme areas, it could be that they that they're Yid and they want the destruction of the state of Israel. And it's hard for us, as we know what it means to us and there's Jews there, and it's our essential homeland and all these things. So you can come, we can find the 95% of the things, you can find the 95% of the things that we would agree on, or you can find the 5% that we don't agree on. By day, now that way we can come together. Find what come together. When you divide the water into parts, its fundamental components, you take out its opposite characteristic that it has within it. Then it weakens itself. It becomes weakened. Its distinctive power becomes weakened, meaning the fact that water is water and not fire gets weakened. So too with the fire. Through dividing it and breaking down to fundamental components, it becomes weakened as well. Yeah, we're seeing if we take ourselves to ourselves, meaning it's like, to use a bad example, but in the Holocaust, people that grew up not being Jewish, like they became Christian or whatever, lately, when it came to the Holocaust, they still had to go to the ghettos and stuff. And there's all stories about these people that they had a really hard time because they weren't accepted by the Jews because they'd given up on the Yiddishkeit, and no one accepted, and in society they weren't also accepted. But the point is that when you get to its source, the Yid's a Yid. He's still a Yid. Whether he acts like a Christian or whatever it is, he says himself, I'm not Jewish. And that's one of the things that, like in the Holocaust, really brought out, that it wasn't against the frum people. It was against Jews. And when you come to your source, that unites us, that's what comes and brings out. And that's what gets revealed. Whereas when it's external, it's all that separates us. Yes, and then when you come to source, you come together. When we weaken the focus on what separates us, and we strengthen the focus on what unites us, and we can all come together. And it could be, some guys is the most ultra orthodox. There's a story, and I think I'll stop with this because I think I'll just finish it off and I'll tell you the story. So Nimtzas, what comes out of this? The Heichaltzu. When you're dividing the thing, meaning you can say, what do you mean? But this is what I hold. But if you divide what you hold to components and say, hey, but like there's all these other things I can actually think about that I can connect with this person. So then that brings you together. On one hand, it's funny. On one hand, you're dividing yourselves. On the other hand, you bring yourself together through the division. Which is we're gonna discuss this in next parak, how it works between like Chacham and Bina. On one hand, Chachma is we said it's like Bittul, it's all one, and Bina is how it divides everything and understand it, pull it out into parts, which seemingly would separate, but really you're gonna connect, unite. Kitzum. The Koyches HaAtzmiyim, in the essential Koyches, essential powers, Va'esh, U'Bamayim, B'chol Davar, within everything, water and fire, Yesh, Behelem, Gamef, B'chleir. Everything has in its soul, like deep down, its opposite as well. The Ayideh Heichaltzu, the Gil Ahelem, as Gil Ahelem Zeh, and through separating ourselves and revealing what's concealed, we can come together. Meaning not dividing ourselves, but recognizing, compartmentalizing ourselves. Yeah, fine, I have this opinion I disagree with. But hey, I also have these opinions I do agree with. Whereas when we miskal ourselves, we just, who am I? I'm the person that's against anyone that's against Israel. Then you can't come together. But who am I? I'm a Yid. And I have unity. And I have these different things. And I have different opinions in certain areas, and we can come together. So just to finish off with this story, that there's an Israeli singer. I forgot his name. He's like a famous secular Israeli singer. And he was very anti-religious, grew up anti-religious, and I think through Corona, he also, like in Israel, they had a lot of complaints in the secular part of Israel about the Haredim. They said it was the Haredim that Corona keeps on happening, because the Haredim kept on wanting to go to shul and not in lockdown. And so he was also one of these people that complained. And I don't know, I can't remember exactly what happened. Something changed. He realized that he was being divisive instead of being uniting. I'll say he's a famous person, so his platform was used the wrong way, and he changed. And he said basically he got on stage, on some concert, and he said basically I'm sorry to the Haredim, that like I was very harsh on them, and I feel bad, and I hope you accept my apology. I think he made a song about unity, and everyone was very impressed. Yeah, and in the end, the story goes that after the concert, he he checked his phone, and basically someone in Brak, which I think he cursed up Brak a lot. Someone in Brak got his number somehow, and yeah, yeah, he said it's not harmful. Yeah, so what happened was, and he had 450 messages. He had 450 messages, 450 messages from Haredim saying thank you and we appreciate it, and then we open our arms in love, and it was all love, and and he said he was passionate crying away till like 2 a.m. or something, and they're like packed up the whole stage and everything, like you got to go, buddy, we're closing up, and it changed him. So then, and Avram Fried saw this video of him. Avram Fried reached out to him and he said, I'm feeling like you know who I am. I'd love to combine with you and sing together, and they do. And I think my wife was saying, I think that they sing the Goodim together or something. And he's not religious, he didn't become religious. And he said, my life is my journey, and they know who I am, and I'm not like pretending, but I think we should come together. And this is very much what we're talking about. And yeah, he could focus on all the negatives or focus on all the positives, and we can all do this. And yeah, Amit Hashem, we should have a lot more. Yeah, we should all work on ourselves, try to find what we can unite. Like I said before, something that I didn't learn this when I thought about this, but I realized what's the difference between a friend, person you like, person you don't like. The person that you like, you focus on the positive, and the person you don't like, you focus on all the negatives. Everyone has good things and bad things, but what do you focus on? We should work on focusing on all the good things of everyone and find those things. Have a great day, everybody.